Shalom, Nawathan, Kal Halalim, Wahawadla, Abanawa, Allahayanawa, Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahushai, Bahasham, Recha Kodash. Double honor to the elder apostles of the Great Millstone, GMS, who rule well, who teach well, still ruling well, and teaching well. Peace, blessings, and salutations to the hopeful elect, Yahweh Ratazah. So, Lord willing, this lesson is edifying. So, yeah, man, prophecy, man. Okay, that's what, we're constantly on the lookout for, all right, constantly watching as well as praying, all right. Every little small move you see is all gearing towards, Bible prophecy. Everything's in tune with that, man. You got to measure the time diligently in itself, okay? And we do that through, looking at current articles in the world, current events in the world, things that's happening in the geopolitical world, all right, and linking it with the Bible, with the scriptures, okay, filtering it through the scriptures. That's how we gauge what time we're in, and we're certainly at the end times, man. Okay, remember, all roads lead to the MOTB as well, you see. So I've got this article which I've screenshotted from Sky News, all right, skynews.com, and it says digital ID cards would help to deter migrants from heading to UK, Harriet Harman says. The Labour peer admitted her view might be controversial, but said it would help the problem of migrants heading to the UK illegally. And this was fairly recent. It was put up on the 11th of July, Friday, 2025. Okay. And the hopeful year of our deliverance and the destruction of Babylon the Great and judgment upon E. Okay. Which was coined by Apostle Taha. All right. See, all these things go hand in hand: the digital ID, digital wallet, the central bank digital currencies. All right. Okay. All that's going to be on the CHIP, on the micro CHIP, which is the MOTB. All right. And without that, you can't buy and sell. All right. Revelation 13, verse 16 on down. It calls all both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond to receive a tragma in the right hand or in their foreheads, and that no man might buy or sell save he that had the name of the beast, or roughly paraphrased, that had the mark of the beast. All right. So on and so forth. Okay. So you ain't going to be able to buy. You ain't going to be able to, travel and do all those things, man. Okay. And, the immigration problem in the UK and all that. Again, this is all for control. So they can track who is who's coming into the country, who is where. You see? That's what it, all boils down to. Okay. Again, when things spiral out of control, okay, we need to see these people so we know where they are at all times. Okay. All right. The government should introduce digital identity cards to deter migrants coming to the UK illegally, former Labour Minister Harriet Harman has told Sky News. Baroness Harman told Beth Rigby on the Electoral Dysfunction podcast, one of the country's open quote pull factors end quote is the fact people arriving on small boats can easily work illegally. Yeah, you got people from like East Africa and North Africa and places like that, man. Coming in on small boats. All right, there was something. Where was it again? Epping in England, somewhere in Epping, where Essex was it? Oh, sorry, Essex, where was it a Somali man abused sexually a schoolgirl, like was it a 9-year-old, 10-year-old schoolgirl? Most likely, something along those lines. But it's fairly recent. Okay. Most likely, a Shedamite girl, all right, and things of that nature. Okay. So, they ultimately, again, they want to, gain control of exactly the location of people, and things of that nature. Identity cards, all right. Who could be a threat to the, who's a terrorist and all that, all right. He's the biggest one, but okay. But we know how these devils do. So yeah. She said having digital ID cards would make it even more difficult for people to work illegally. Yeah, that too. All right. Identify people. Okay, and a lot else with, identity, because they'll be on the system, on the grid. All right. The Labour peer, who was a minister under Sir Tony Blair and interim party leader in 2015, says she does not see ID cards as a way of stopping people doing things, although she said it is important to stop people working illegally. It could also be used to check people's eligibility to vote, so they don't have to go through the difficulties of registering to vote. Oh yeah, that'll all be, ultimately on, you know, on you know, through the grid, basically. All right, what I'm trying to say. All right, everything will be on, you know, the MOTB system. Wanting to vote, wanting to, you know, book appointments for doctor or, you know, dentist or what have you, opticians, audiologists, get your hearing tested, things of that nature. All right, you see everything's been online and things of that nature. All right, phasing out the old school way of doing things. All right. Okay. And of course, you know, with the CEIP, they're going to push those false miracles of, you know, having to cure. You know, people think when they take it, like, oh, I can see again, I can hear again, and all that stuff. All right. But those that take the CEIP, you know, grievous sore fell upon those that took the mark. All right. Pos, cancer. Right. Helkos is the Greek word. All right. So, all right, for the word so. Okay. So yeah, because he's, you know, he's trying to play God. All right. Let's see. Sir Tony has been a long-time supporter of more than 40 Labour MPs from the three groups on Tuesday urged ministers to introduce digital IDs to help control the migration system and improve public services. The Home Office is currently rolling out e-visas for all people in the UK on a visa and is creating new digital systems for checking visa compliance. Yeah. All right. Book of Isaiah chapter 5. Verse 21, New Living Translation, NLT, and it reads, "What sorrow for those who are wise in their own eyes and think themselves so clever." And that's what these devils do, man. They think they're so clever. Okay, they think that, you know, you know, they truly came up with everything on their own, man. And really, it's the Heavenly Father, Yahweh Shem Shai, right, that put these thoughts into these people's heads, all right? Okay, and they just think they're gonna continuously rule forever. All right. And we're not ignorant of any matter, small or great either. All right. We're not ignorant to Satan's devices as well. You see. So, you know, these puppets that the elites put in place, you know, to do their bidding. Okay. Making these moves and whatever. All right. We're not ignorant to that whatsoever. Okay. That's why there's always constant changes, and them changes are for the worst. Okay. So sorrow awaits these people, man. All right. They've got hell to pay, man. These devils and these heathens too, man. Alright, but more specifically E-Man, the Lord has a bone to pick with you, alright? And 2/3 of our people that join on with E-Man, they're going to be unpunished. They're going to be punished. So hand join in hand, the wicked shall not be unpunished. Okay? Psalm chapter 2 verse 1, why do the heathen rage and the people imagine a vain thing? Yeah, the heathen raging. Okay? You know, China wants to be next in rulership. They think they're going to rule next. Alright? You know, you got to sit and meditate upon these things, man. Heathen raging, yeah. See, this word is uprooting these lies all throughout the earth. Okay? It's in the spirit of these heathens to hate us. Okay? And do everything they can to oppress us, keep us down. Right? Try and keep us away from our power. Verse 2, the kings of the earth set themselves and the rulers take counsel together against Yahweh and against his anointed, saying, let us break their bands asunder and cast away their cords from us, man. You see? Just think about that. The kings of the earth, man. These different leaders of these different nations all around the earth, man. These different kings of these different heathen nations. The kings of Saudi. And a lot of them will go back to Amalek and things like that. All right? You know, these elites of these other heathen nations, man. You know, they're joined in with the Illuminati. They're all linked up with E. All right? These different top elites of these other heathen nations, they're linked up with E too. All right, and they all imagine that they sit there, you know, their big meeting in these away from everybody, closed doors, and take counsel, man, and have these secret, private meetings, man. Okay. What they can do to plot against the nation of Israel. So-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, man. Alright? We don't have a place at the UN, do we? Verse 4. he that sitteth in the heavens shall laugh, the Lord shall have them in derision, yeah? You ain't gonna just hear a big laugh come out of the sky, but you see, the Lord will laugh through his prophets, man. They are set up, the mouthpiece of his. You see? And the Lord had these people in derision. They think they're moving on their own accord. They think they really are truly, you know, they think that everything is wired down, man. But the Lord said the deceived and the deceiver is his. Alright? Ultimately, you know, the deceived and the deceiver is. Okay? Yeah? Alright? Alright. Okay. So I'll just leave that there, man, because, you know, get ready for plantation work. Okay? See? But again, this everything's moving to the tune of prophecy, man. Alright? The spirit of Yahushua, the testimony of Yahushua is the spirit of prophecy. Okay? Look at this. Tuna being recalled. 2 types of tuna recalled over listeria contamination fears, yeah? Yeah, more and more products are being recalled, not just food and drink. Even other household products are being recalled. Okay. So yeah, let's leave that there. Alright. So with that, I'm going to say shalom.